Good morning, everyone. My name is Sandeep, and I'm the co-founder of Code Tigers. Welcome to the seventh episode of the Code Tigers live show, a show which brings to you a young coder along with a slightly older guest every week. We are very proud to have Mr. Ashutosh Malik as the guest for this week, and a young coder, Divyanshu Chaudhary, who's in grade 8, and he's planned a wonderful activity called Dance Party. Uh, I'm so looking forward to this session with both Ashutosh and Divyanshu. So I'm going to welcome Mr. Malik uh, now. Hi, Ashutosh. Good morning.
Good morning, Sandeep. Good morning, Divyanshu, and everyone there.
How are you doing today?
Wonderful. It's lovely to be there with you all.
Thank you so much. I know you're joining us from Nigeria, where it's pretty early at this time of the day. What time is it?
Absolutely. Oh, it's about 5:31 now.
Wow. Thank you so much for taking out the time to join in at such an at this we made you wake up early on a Sunday morning, especially.
Yeah, that's right. And although in a way, it's good because it's recommended that people should get up early. But आजकल तो it's life has changed.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, folks, Ashutosh is a serial entrepreneur and an investor now. And for all of you, Ashutosh created a company called Aaramshop, which got acquired recently by Reliance Jio, and now all of us know that brand as JioMart. JioMart is also, I think, now the largest e-grocery in the country in India. So Ashutosh, I'm very happy to know that, and I'd love to hear more from you about your experiences and how you created a brand which turned out to be now the largest brand in this space.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting journey, Sandeep, and how it all started. Well, as an entrepreneur, I've been one for almost 20 years now.
Okay.
Um, uh, my entrepreneurial journey started long back in 2000 when I and a couple of friends we started a training firm actually in India. We
Okay.
ran that for almost a decade, and then we started to discuss the idea about Aaramshop with among us friends, and then in 2011 we established Aaramshop. The idea at that point was that we would connect the grocery. In India, Kirana stores or the grocery stores, as we generally call them, they form more than account for more than 90% of India's grocery, and in large metropolitan cities like Delhi, Bombay, etc. They were already delivering. Home delivery was a very strong element of our grocery stores. So they were already delivering. They already had the stuff that the neighborhood needed. What we just added was a platform where this store can now have online orders from their customers. This store can now get to know what their customers require, understand customer behavior, start marketing to them. So we had one key stakeholder was the store, the other key stakeholder was the neighborhood household, people like us, and the third key stakeholder were the brands who wanted to understand what the customer behavior is about. So that's how it started. It went on till about 2017, when to late 17, early 18 is when we actually got acquired by Reliance Jio. And
Okay.
in the meantime, as an entrepreneur, I've had my failures as well. So what we are discussing as of now, the Aaramshop is a success, but as an entrepreneur, you have multiple episodes of success and failure, and that's what it has been for me as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we'd love to know more about your journey along the session. Let me now welcome Divyanshu Chaudhary, who's a student of class 8, and
Mhm.
he's in OPG World School, Delhi. He's been learning code for I think the last couple of years. He's become very good at it, and he's planned a very exciting activity for us today. Hey Divyanshu, how are you doing this morning?
Hello, sir.
How
Thank
are
you.
you?
Thank you for introducing me. I'm fine.
Great.
Hi, Divyanshu. Good morning.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
So Divyanshu, what is the activity that you planned for us today?
Okay, so my activity is dance party in which we have to write code to make the dancers dance in the dance party. Uh,
Mhm.
we have to
Okay.
create time period measures and different dance moves at every minute or measures.
Okay. I can't even think of how dance and code can probably be correlated with each other. Sounds like a very interesting activity.
Absolutely. And the interesting bit is that I'm a very poor dancer, so we have to see how the program can help me do it.
I
Same
think
here,
that's the
sir.
same. Oh, Divyanshu, I'm sure you're a better dancer than both of us.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Now I will start my presentation. So
Yes.
first you have
So
to go
Divyanshu,
to
yeah,
Google and
give me a
type.
give me a second, Divyanshu. Let me share your screen. Yes, for the folks who are logging in and who are watching our show on Facebook and YouTube, you have to open a separate tab, which could be on any browser, Google Chrome, Firefox, or anything, and then type in
Just
code.org.
type
Yeah, yeah, Divyanshu.
code.org and you you will come to this screen. So to start the hour of code, you can just press learn.
So the
You don't have to sign
yeah,
in also.
learn is on the top left hand menu of your screen when you open the code.org homepage. So you'll find
Then
learn as the first option there.
you will come to uh, the screen
This is
and
the next page that you'll come to.
you will scroll down a bit. You can see hour of code here.
Mhm.
Below the hour of code, there is the dance party, which I am gonna present. So here are two options. So I will do the dance party to share with my friends.
One second, Divyanshu. So, for everyone, all the viewers, this is an activity which combines dance and code. It is an activity which was created by Amazon Future Engineers, and it allows anyone to create a wonderful dance party. It has wonderful music options to choose from, and anyone who's either 4 years or above can do this. The younger kids can probably get some help from their parents or some elders who is close by, but slightly older kids can do this completely on their own. So this activity is such a nice, a wonderful activity that when Amazon was creating this activity, Ashutosh, they ended up creating two specific activity because they believe that just one may not be enough to keep people interested.
Wow.
So we're going to be doing the first one today. Divyanshu is going to take us through the first one of these activities. Yeah, Divyanshu.
Oh, okay, so here is a video. Uh, uh, you
Can
will
you
see.
can you click full screen, please? And I think you'll have to share your screen again because I don't see your audio coming in. Yeah. So in the meanwhile, if the people who are watching this, if they could quickly type in the chat their locations wherever they are logging in from, just to quickly kind of let us know where are the people, where are you all physically located. I'm in Delhi. Ashutosh is in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Divyanshu is also in Delhi. So you know about us. But if all of you can please enter in the comments, uh, that will help us understand where each one of you is logging in from. Divyanshu, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Pause your video, please.
Sir, I've started from beginning.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Mural Kadvi, and I'm a dancer, software developer, and creator of Illuminate. Computer science relates to creativity in numerous ways, immeasurable, really. I mean, once you have the ability to write software, you can put ideas into anything. I do it with light suits. There's so much you can do once you have the tools to write software, and the possibilities are really endless. Over the next hour, you're going to get started with computer science by programming your own dance party. We've assembled some hit music and a team of great dancers for you to play with. You'll be using blocks of code to choose different dancers. Change your dance moves, make them respond to the music, and make them interactive. You'll see that your screen is split into 3 main parts. On the left is a play space. This is where your dancers will show up. The middle area is a toolbox. New blocks of code will be available in this space as you go through the lessons. The space to the right is the workspace. You can drag blocks out of the toolbox and into the workspace to build your program. The instructions for each level will be up here at the top of the screen. If you need a hint, just click the light bulb. To start off, let's make a new dancer with this red block. First, drag it out of the toolbox and snap it under this orange setup block. This dancer's a cat. You can also change where the dancer appears in your play space with this. Above the play space is the menu for picking out music. There are a ton of songs to choose from, so have fun finding your favorites. Under the play space is the run button. When you press run, you'll see the dancers from your program appear in the play space and the music will play. Try it yourself. And if you're feeling stuck, it's okay. Just get up and get moving. And before you know it, you'll have made your own dance party. So, what will you create?
Okay, so we have watched the video.
So the next thing is you'll choose your age. Yeah.
Yes, my age is 13. So here are the instruction at the top. We will just read it. Drag the make new cat block at the center block into the workspace and connect it inside the setup block. Choose the cat or slot to create your first dance. So I'll just press OK. So as he said, we have to drag make new cat block at the center and press run.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
So we have made a new dancer.
Tell me nothing.
Nice.
So now we will head up to the second level.
Divyanshu, next time you run the code, just increase the screen size of the play space as well. Okay.
Okay. So there is another video. I'll just play it.
Make it full screen.
My name is Erin, and I am a software engineer here at code.org, and I helped build Dance Party. To make different dance moves happen at just the right time with the music, you can use something called events. An event tells your program to listen for something to happen and then react right away. Some examples of events are listening for a mouse click, an arrow button, or a tap on the screen. Here, you are going to program a dancer to perform a move when you press the arrow buttons on your screen or the keys on your keyboard. You can use the when up arrow event block and connect a do once block to it. When you press the up arrow key, the code attached to the when up arrow block is run. Which dance move will you choose? Make sure the type of dancer you choose matches one of the dancers you created inside the setup block, or you might not see anything happen. Eventually, you can create more events like this to make your dancers perform different moves with each key. Give it a try, and with a few lines of code, you can make your own interactive dance.
Okay, so I understood the video.
One
In
second,
the video,
Divyanshu. Yeah, sorry. Just increase your play space and then then add the character. So for all the folks who are listening in, events are basically simple actions which trigger a result. So like for example, if you press a key on your an arrow key, for example, on your keyboard when you're playing a game, let's say I want a character to move up, and I press the up arrow key, then then that is an event. Similarly, when I tap the screen of my phone to result into an action, that is again an event. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. Yes, Divyanshu.
okay, so for the up arrow key, I will drag the cat, and here are some options for the dance moves. I will do it high clap, and for down, I will do uh, uh, body roll. Now, if I run the project, when I press up, it claps, and when I press down, it does body roll. So,
So you can basically decide in the program when you're running your existing dance move, you can trigger new moves by pressing different keys. That's what you're trying to do, Divyanshu, right?
yes, sir.
Great. And for all
Okay,
the folks who are listening in, we have people joining in from different parts of the country. We have people from Jammu, we have people from Pune, we have people from Alwar, and some people from Delhi. And in fact, we just saw that there's somebody who's even tuned in from Australia.
Wow.
Cool. Yeah, Divyanshu, please take us forward.
so here is a new option, random dance move. So it will create an unexpected dance move uh, on its own.
Yeah.
I'll just run.
Ah, nice.
So I completed the level, and now I'll continue.
And what is that heart sign that you keep clicking, Divyanshu?
That is about if you like the project, so you can click it.
And there's a sad face. There's a sad smiley right next to it. You
If you are
don't
not
ever
able
click on
to
that.
do it, then click that.
Okay, so you don't like. Have you ever clicked on the sad face?
No.
No.
We don't want Divyanshu to be sad.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, such a nice vibe.
Okay, so there is another video about measures.
Yeah. Who's crazy that?
I'm Ala Black. I'm a singer, songwriter, an entertainer. Well, I think computer science is really important to learn because computer science is the future. And I think it's important for people to be in control of the technology that is literally controlling their lives. The event we're going to use now will listen for a change in the song. The change will trigger your dancer to do a new dance. Professional dancers practice their choreography by counting the beats of the song. In music, a measure refers to a certain number of beats. In most popular songs, a measure is 4 beats long. To get your dancers to let loose, you'll need a green event block. This event block says, after 4 measures. If you drag out a purple do forever block, you can pick a dance for your dancer to do. Because it's under the after 4 measures event block, your dancer will wait for 4 measures of the song before starting their dance. Keep an eye on the measure counter at the top of the display area. Look and listen for the event that will trigger the dance code. And right on cue, our dancer starts going.
Okay, so the video told that there is a new block called after 4 measures. So here it shows them here at the play space. It shows the measures. When it comes to 4 measures, the shark will do a new move. And
Because it's over doesn't mean it's really over. And if I think it over, maybe you'll be coming over again. And I have to get over you all over again.
so now 4 measures are up.
Just because it's over doesn't mean it's really over. And if I think it over, maybe you'll be coming over again. And I have to get over you all over again.
Divyanshu, can you hit replay again?
Yes, sir.
So can you now change this number 4 to maybe something else? Maybe 2 or 6, whatever you would want. Then
So
let's see what
I'll
happens.
turn into 6.
Just because it's over doesn't mean it's really over. And if I think it over, maybe you'll be coming over again. And I have to get over you all over again. Just because it's over doesn't.
You removed the block on the top before this, so I think that's why it didn't work.
Okay.
It
Because
tells
that's
us to do the 4 measures also.
Okay.
Just because it's over doesn't mean it's really over. And if I think it over, maybe you'll be coming over again. And I have to get over you all over again. Just because it's over doesn't mean it's really over. And if I think it over, maybe you'll be coming over again. And I have to get over you all over again.
Okay, so now we are on the 5th stage.
So Ashutosh, back when you were in school, I think it was a long time ago, like just like
Yes.
yeah. Do you remember doing anything like this? I remember my first experience with computers was a old school computer where you had to insert those floppy disks, which could fold very easily. No, very delicate computers. So, do you remember learning anything like this, or ever probably getting to hear anything like this?
So nothing in the school. I passed out of school in 1987. So that at that time there was probably there were mainframes in the university campus where we were living, and I remember getting to know about them because at that time I think there used to be those cards which had those squarish holes in them.
Yeah.
Which had to be first printed separately and then put into the machine. I never ran one of those, but I remember hearing about it. And when I got into the university in 1987, I was studying mechanical engineering, and at that time it was assumed that mechanical engineers don't need to know about computers.
Okay.
But by the time I was passing out in 1991, the final year, one of our professors insisted, as a part of a project, insisted that we should run a program on, and I think that one had to use the basic, that the language basic, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And of the 4 of us who were doing that project, none of us were, 3 of us were not interested at all to do anything with computers. And there was one guy who, incidentally, is now a Steel Authority of India Limited at a very senior position. He said that, okay, I will do the programming bit. And I was very comfortable doing nothing to do with computers. I said that I will do the physical labor, which is I'll go to the workshop, collect data on inventory, do whatever was required physically, but nothing to do with computers. And the fascinating bit was, you mentioned that, that at that time computers used to be very sensitive. So there was this laboratory where we had to take off shoes. It used to be air conditioned. We
Yeah.
would get into the main room. There was a small cubicle with glass doors, etc. We
Yeah.
took off our shoes, wore those socks of sorts which were given there,
Yeah.
and then we would enter the air-conditioned room where the PCs were running. It was PC, right?
Yeah.
And I still remember a very interesting thing happened. This was and those were the days when ACs were not common at all. Now Divyanshu is growing up. I'm sure he's very used to an air conditioner in the car and the home. And I had never been. None of us had ever been in an air conditioned room before that. Okay, in our houses or anywhere in the school or in the college also. So the first night when this program was to run, we got our friend, the gentleman who had offered to do the programming bit. He had created something and he said that today we'll run it after all the data had been input and so on and so forth. And it was late at night that we finally were successful. And then we slept there in the air-conditioned room because it was very late.
Wow.
And in the morning, I got up with a fever, I think. So that's my first experience of a computer, sophisticated nature of it, taking the shoes off and so on. So that was 1991.
Yeah, I think dust was considered to be the enemy or the biggest enemy of a computer back then. They were so sensitive, the devices, so you had to take everything and the computer lab probably was the cleanest space in the entire campus.
Very true.
Yeah.
So that was 1991, and I never thought then, and that's how life is. To Divyanshu and everybody else who is listening to this as kids, in 2011, I became a part of a co-founder of a technology company.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that from there to becoming the co-founder of a tech company like Aaramshop, it's been quite a journey.
Absolutely. And it's a fascinating journey. Something that I'll share with the kids as we go along on what life is going to be about as we move on.
Yeah. So as a tech entrepreneur, what is it that you would think is the right age for a child to start, inclining towards tech, starting to learn code or other forms of tech? What is probably the best or the right age for a parent to start nudging their kids into these directions?
Very interesting question, Sandeep. And the fascinating bit is the age in which we are. You see, when we're talking of technology has become such an intricate part of our lives. It is no longer the 90s or even the 2000s. You see, we are sitting in 2020, which means that we are already in start of the third decade of this century. And the fact of the matter is that kids nowadays and the environment is such that you can't just escape technology, right? At the most basic level, technology has become an intricate part of our lives. Our kids are growing up with cell phones without having to think about anything like what we were going through. So my sense is, and what is with internet, the IoT devices, with the ability to control various things, what we often see is that people of my generation are, whenever we buy a new technology, it is our kids at times who solve the problems on our cell phones, on our laptops, etc. You see, so my sense is that actually, with where we are now and where the world is moving, I see. I would imagine that kids ought to start learning technology, coding, etc., in the first few years of their formal schooling. I think what I know of, my sister lives in the US, and her kids at the age when they are probably in Montessori, or before even the formal schooling before even class 1, as we would call it, has started.
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten. At that age, they are learning some kind of coding, through some kind of devices. I can probably share the more information, but I'm sure Divyanshu can find more about it, and you guys can. But
Yeah.
recently, when the school has started because of lockdown, everybody, and that's another fascinating bit. Lockdown has brought about change in the lives of our kids. They are getting educated through technology. My son, who is in class 5 now, he is using various tools, whether it's Google Classroom or one app called Seesaw, and a few more Flipgrid or something, to do various things in school. And I'm sure Divyanshu is doing various things, and kids all over India are doing various things. So, fact of the matter is that given that technology has become so intricate in our lives, and another interesting bit is logic. Logic is something that as humans we would understand at any point of time in our life, right? And that is
Yeah.
probably the first stage to learn technology. I never learned a language, by the way. I'll be I'll be very honest. And interestingly, recently I started to think that maybe it's time to start learning Python. So,
Okay.
and I'll share something more as we go along.
Yeah.
For example, we are living in COVID times. How is the vaccine being developed? So
Yeah.
there's more to share.
Yeah. 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 So in fact, Divyanshu is learning Python these days.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's in class 8. So I think with a couple of years of experience, he's already way ahead of a lot of kids. And yeah, you very rightly put, you should start as early as possible. And code is nothing but logic to start with, right?
And that, as humans, we understand, right? We
Yeah.
explain our kids. If we have to explain anything to our kids, we use logic, emotions.
Yeah.
So if they get to understand, a kid gets to understand what he or she has to do at a young age, as what we do as parents or what our teachers do in the classes, then coding, I would imagine it's as normal as brushing your teeth to
Yeah.
begin. If I were to use another metaphor.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, Divyanshu, let's moving on.
Now, for the fifth stage, here is a new block, set background effect. So, at the background, we can set different options here. And it is also saying us to, after 6 measures, make a move. So, now
Si el ritmo te lleva a mover la cabeza, ya empezamos como es. Mi música no discrimina a nadie, así que vamos a romper. Toda mi gente se mueve. Mira el ritmo como los tiene. Hago música que entretiene. El mundo nos quiere.
This activity has wonderful characters. Every
Absolutely.
section has, every level has a different, very, very interesting and cool characters. Divyanshu, what was
Yes.
those dance moves?
The dance move was clap and floss.
Can you try and show
Floss,
us?
oh yes.
You would know how to floss, Divyanshu, right?
Yes, maybe.
The only floss that I had ever heard of before this activity was the one that you do with your teeth.
Yeah, and at my age, teeth are a big issue.
Okay, Divyanshu, let's move on.
Now we have to set some background answer. So here is a block where we can set some background answer. Here is this is the pattern, different patterns in which we can set the answer. So I'll just, and we have to set a main answer also. I like duck, so I'll set. I like cat, so I'll set like.
1 second,
Cat.
Divyanshu. Can you pause it? Yeah.
Yes,
So for all the viewers, this yellow block that you see on your screen, which is sort of circling the other blocks, which has all the other blocks put together. This is the setup block, and it is as simple as setting up your dance stage. So when you're creating a new dance, let's say for example you're creating a group dance, so you would decide where the dancers would stay, would be positioned in a particular stage, and who are the dancers going to be. So this setup blocking is exactly like that. It is just setting the dance stage for us. So in the setup block, you would put the name of the dancer. You can choose the dancer. You can also choose their positions. You can add other dancers and choose their positions also. So you can maybe have a lead dancer and you can have supporting dancers. And then after this, you would want to add the instructions for all those dancers. What are those dancers going to do? Yes, Divyanshu.
So we can run the project
Vamos pa la playa, pa curarte el
now.
alma.
There are the
Cierra
background
la
dancers
pantalla,
at the border
abre la
because I set the
medalla.
border,
Todo el mar
and the main
Caribe,
dancer at
viendo
the
tu
front.
cintura, tú le coqueteas.
So in this, just hit replay once, Divyanshu. So in this, Ashutosh, we had a lead dancers in the center of the screen, and then we had all the other dancers in a background and in the form of a square.
Yeah.
And as you can see, the size of those dancers is smaller, so they look as if they are further behind the main lead dancer.
Yeah.
It kind of
Yeah.
gives a very nice impression. He's also set up a background effect that you can, of course, choose. You have multiple different options.
Right. Excellent.
Okay, cool, Divyanshu.
Vamos pa la playa, pa curarte el alma. Cierra la pantalla, abre la medalla. Todo el mar Caribe, viendo tu cintura, tú le coqueteas.
Ashutosh, I have a question from a young kid in the audience, and he's asked a very interesting thing: that how is code or learning code going to help him become an entrepreneur in the future?
Very interesting. Okay, so I'll try to give two perspectives on how learning code will help him become an entrepreneur. The first one is a very direct one. If technology and coding is going to be is going to be a very intricate part of our lives, anything that we do in our lives, any business that is happening, any government service that we are getting, right? So, for example, Government of India is now using Aadhaar, that number, to provide the people across India, the poorest of our, who may not have used technology, to get the services from the government, whether it is health services or anything else that somebody needs. So everything in our lives is going to be done basis technology. So as a kid who is wanting to be an entrepreneur, if you know technology, then you can start thinking of its applications. And if you start thinking of its applications, you can start thinking of what is the problem that I'm going to solve and how am I going to solve it. You see, any entrepreneur is, at the end of the day, either solving a problem and then, not either, he or she is solving a problem. There may be two ways to think of it. The problem is considered a very important one to be solved, or an entrepreneur is so futuristic in his or her thought that he has looked at a world ahead and said, this is right now not considered as a problem, but I have a technology solution that will help make it better in the future. And at some point in time, I'll probably talk of our model Aaramshop, why we thought of what we will do. So as an entrepreneur, if you know technology, then you will be able to look at how to apply this technology to solve real life problems. And when you solve real life problems, or you make things easy for human beings, that is where a business starts to happen. Right. So that's first thing. As an entrepreneur, you solve an issue, you solve a problem, or find a way of doing something better. Over and above that, you start building a business model around it. How will customers pay? How will customers receive this service? And so on and so forth. So since our lives are becoming more and more revolving around technology, everything that we do will have a technology interface. So you, as somebody who knows coding, will be able to look at, okay, how will I use technology to solve a problem? That's the first. So that's a very direct connection to using technology to start a business. The second is, and that's interestingly very relevant people like me who didn't learn technology. Yeah. But we knew logic, right? We learned logic. As humans, we grew up. I became a businessman. I became an entrepreneur. I worked as a professional. Solving problems was a very important thing for us. Has always been an important thing for us in business, in life. And although I didn't know technology, I could understand logic. And if I knew technology, then I would have been able to guide my team members at times. So since I didn't know, that was in a way a limitation for me. So I see two, therefore I see one, a direct connection, which is if I know technology, then I can code. And if I know code, then I can design, make something. Second, as a businessman, even if I'm not directly connected to making technology, you see, as a senior member of a team, I no longer now need to directly make a program or directly write code to solve a problem. But if I have an understanding of coding, and if I have a deep understanding of coding going back years, then I will be able to guide a young coder better, or help him understand a problem better, or help him solve a problem better. So I see coding will be very, very important as we go along. And as an entrepreneur who is leading a team, there will also be situations where young team members might actually be testing you. Does my boss even know what he's talking about? The better you are at what you do, the better you'll be able to lead a team. So I think, given the environment, given how we are moving, given how everything has some technology running behind it, it is critical to learn technology to do anything, and to be an entrepreneur. As I explained, it will really help you. I hope I have tried to explain something that the young kid has understood. But if he has any more questions, I'm glad to answer them.
Yeah, please feel free to write your questions in the chat, and we'll be happy to take them on. That was a brilliant explanation. I think very, very rightly put together. I totally agree with that. So you definitely have an edge as an entrepreneur if you know how to work with technology, if you've at some point in your career, because even as CTOs or as a lot of tech co-founders, they don't end up doing code or writing code in their daily routine. They have teams of engineers that they would work with who actually write the code, but it always gives you the edge if you know what you're asking the team to do, what you're asking the team to create. It definitely gives you that perspective also.
They respect you better. They respect you more if you know about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Perfect. Okay, Divyanshu.
Now here we are getting another video.
Full screen, please.
My name is Maria. I'm a junior at the University of Washington, and I'm an Amazon feature engineer. I love computer science because it incorporates problem solving and critical thinking. And after putting hours of work into something, you can get something really cool and rewarding out of it. So far, you've had a chance to play with some different types of dancers, and you've programmed them to do different types of dance moves. But how do these moves really work? Every dance move is made up of a series of images called frames. Each frame is slightly different from the one before it. When your program runs, the computer shows one frame after another. They're shown so fast that it looks like the dancer is moving. This is the secret behind all animation. Not only can you change a dancer's moves, you can also change a dancer's properties. Properties describe things like the dancer's position on the screen, the dancer's size, and the dancer's color. To change the properties of a dancer, you'll use a set block. Let's use a set block to make our dancers look smaller. First, drag the set block into your program. Then select a dancer you'd like to change, and type in the size they will appear on screen. Full size is 100. If you choose a lower number, that will make the dancer smaller. The smaller the dancer is, the further away it looks. Using the set block, you can also change a dancer's dimensions, rotation, position, and color. By playing around with these properties, you can make all kinds of changes and link them to different parts of the song. Remember, you can only set the properties of a dancer that already exists. Make sure that your set block comes after the Make a New Dancer block. Feel free to experiment, be creative, and have fun.
Wonderful.
Great. So by adding properties, we can basically make our dance party even more interesting.
Now there is a new block called set block. That this can change the properties of a particular dancer that already exists.
Yeah. So it's important for you to note that the properties should only be set for the dancer which is already part of your dance party. So the character should already be there in your dance party. And if that character, the character the block for that character should appear before this properties block. Right, Divyanshu?
Yes, sir. Now I am setting the
So which property are you
main
going to
dancer.
work with? You're going to work with the size of the dancer?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There are different options also like tint, rotation, height, and vertical position.
Okay.
Now the main dancer will appear bigger than the other dancer.
You gotta go and get angry at all of my honesty.
Okay, what seems to have happened? You need to change the size at least one dancer after the music starts. Can you change this to, let's say, maybe something else? Or can you also add another block to change the size of the background dancers?
Okay. So
Maybe,
I will change the back dancers to 10.
Yeah, that'll be really small.
You gotta go and get angry at all of my honesty.
Perfect. Next time you run the code, just increase the play space area a little. Next time, yeah.
Now there is a new block called set new tint block. Now we can change the tint of a particular dancer.
Yeah.
So
Tint
the
is basically the
dancer,
color of that particular dancer.
yes,
Okay, wonderful.
I will change it to yellow.
So you're making the unicorn yellow.
Yes.
Okay.
We go together, better than birds of a feather, you and me. We change the weather, yeah, we're feeling.
Nice.
So I remember a very interesting incident. Ashutosh, we were doing this activity in a school in Delhi, and we were in the computer lab, and we had all the kids get up and start to dance. And I think one of the school members, I think it was a senior teacher who walked in, and she said, "I don't understand. What are you guys doing dancing in a computer science class?"
Yeah, I know.
So activities this help us uncomplicate and sort of connect computer science with a whole lot of different things which you may not generally relate it with. Computer science is considered something very technical and boring, but it's so much more.
Very true. And what is interesting is how it has started to impact simple things. For example, I have some interest in photography, and by
Yeah.
the way, when we were seeing these images of the videos of our main dancer and those small ones, as you rightly put it, it was coming across as if these small dancers are at some distance from the main dancer. Maybe they are behind. So in
Yeah.
photography, this thing is called perspective.
Yeah.
So when you take a photograph and you are trying to show, so now in cameras, what is interesting is how much of the work technology has taken over.
Yeah.
Which from the time of the cameras of the 70s and 80s, people had to do a lot of stuff on their own. However, now you hardly do anything. You maybe just control the aperture and the speed and the ISO number, and then you shoot. The camera takes care of everything else. You don't have to bother about so many things that used to be, and that is where technology. So when you say that how technology has and dance, well, technology is everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah, microwave, kitchen, refrigerators.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, please.
Cool, Divyanshu.
Okay, now we are on the 9th stage. Here is another new block called repeat every 2 measures block. So it after every 2 measures, it repeats the same thing again and again. So if we add another block in this, then it after every 2 measures, it will do a random move.
Starships were meant to fly, hands up and touch the sky. Can't stop 'cause we're so high. Let's do this one more time. Starships were meant to fly, hands up and touch the sky. Let's do this one last time.
Wow, that's wonderful. And I think that brings us to the last level, level of this particular activity. Can't wait to see what is going to happen there.
Now we are on the last stage. Here we have to make our own dance party with nothing on the screen.
Okay, can you? Okay, looks like another video. Can you please go full
Yes.
screen and play?
Congratulations! You've just learned the basics of computer science. Now you can use these
Congratulations,
blocks to
full
create a
screen.
dance party of your own design to share with your friends. If you look in the toolbox, you'll find some brand new blocks that you haven't seen before. For instance, you can use the layout block to arrange dancers in different ways on the screen. Have a look around and try experimenting with these new blocks and features. Will you create a carefully choreographed dance to your favorite song? Or a dance off with your friends? Or something else altogether? At the end of the tutorial, you can share a link to your creation with your friends. Stretch your imagination and just have fun.
All right, great. So I think we have a whole lot of new blocks that we can play around with, and we can make our own dance party, anything that we would want to. So yeah, Divyanshu, you basically have a white canvas and colors. Let's see what you can play around with.
Okay, so first
Ashutosh,
I
would you
will
want to add some? Would you want to add any suggestions?
Sure.
any special favorite characters that you found that you would want to see, maybe the robot or the duck or anything else?
I'm sure Divyanshu can do a better job than I can.
Sir, then you
But
must choose the song.
Yeah,
me?
you'll have to choose your favorite song. There's a lot of different options available.
Oh wow! So I am of the age when we used to listen largely to the Hindi songs, and when my daughter and son play what the songs that they are listening to nowadays, then at times the English ones. Then at times I go tell them that यार मुझे तो ये समझ में I'm not able to understand what these guys are talking about, But you are playing Shawn Mendes, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead.
I've heard about this this one, and or maybe my son or my daughter probably played it once.
Yeah. How old are your
Okay,
kids,
so
Ashutosh?
Our daughter is in college, second
Okay.
year, and then we have a younger son who is 8.5 years younger than his sister, so he is in grade class 5.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
perfect age for him to start doing this activity.
Oh yes, absolutely, and I think they are already doing something around it.
Wonderful.
I remember that 2 years ago, he in when he was in class 3. At that time, the school had started to teach them some kind of coding.
Yeah.
They used to go to a lab and so on. But I know now, as I was saying earlier, my sister's kids are learning coding even earlier.
Uh-huh. Divyanshu, go ahead and create your dance party.
okay, now first to start the dance party, we have to select the background. So I'll just set the background effect
Uh-huh.
to bubbles and then a background color also, so that it has a good effect. Now we have to set the background, the set background effect. Now we will select electronic because we are doing electronic and colors.
Okay.
Then we have to make a new background dancers. So we will, there are already there. So
Yeah.
I'll just change it to 12.
Okay.
Now I have to set a main dancers also.
Yeah.
So the main dancer will be the duck, my
Okay.
favorite.
Okay.
Now we will add another uh, background
More background
dancer
dancers. Okay. You
so
make it
that
really
the
crowded,
middle
free for all.
screen is filled.
There's a real party on now.
Now
Yeah. Yeah. Divyanshu has
they
a lot
will
of friends. He'll be in the
they will
center
be
in the form of a duck and everybody else all around him.
border, and this will be the inside square. Now we have to set the properties of every dancer.
Okay.
So we will we will set that when so we will set when when bass comes in the song,
Okay.
the dancer's uh, size changes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So the dance effect will
Now
start with the with the sound effect when it changes to bass. Cool.
now another property, we will change the size of the dancer bigger than the another dance other dancers. Now another, we can put the dancer speed. This is doing just to show you because it's default normal only. Now now we will uh, cha- now we will make make a new dancers that are the company dancers
Mhm.
with the four dancers will be with the duck, two dancers will be robot,
Mhm. Very
and two
interesting.
dancers will be cat.
This is already looking like a very interesting and complex
Now
code.
we will set the properties of each dancer.
Okay.
Now same properties as the main dancer, that it will change size when bass comes.
Yeah, scroll down, I think. Yeah, that's where it is.
Okay, so these are being inserted just below every row.
Yeah, so you have to
So
first
that
set up a dancer and then add the properties for that dancer.
Right, right, right.
And then you have to, yeah, he's choosing which dancer, which, so the blocks have to be specified
yes.
which dancer will they uh, relate to.
Hmm. I have
Now
I
we
have a
have set.
question, and I'll ask it later.
Sure, sure, sure.
Now now we have to set the events.
Mhm. Make it simple, just maybe two events, maybe the left and the right
Uh,
arrow key.
when bass
Okay, you would
when
choose the bass.
three back bass.
Mhm.
Now we will choose a random dance move.
Divyanshu, just space out the blocks so that we can all see them. Yeah, just drag them. Yeah, perfect.
Now we have to add another. Now we will change it one to mid and one to terrible, so that, and we will change it to random,
Okay.
so that there is a unexpected move.
Hmm.
Yes.
Now we will run.
Just increase the screen
Can't
size.
write one song that's not about you. Can't drink without thinking about you. Is it too late to tell you that everything means nothing if I can't have you? I'm in Toronto and I got this view, but I might as well be in a hotel room. Yeah, it doesn't matter cause I'm so consumed.
I think I have to decrease the size of the background dancers.
That's okay,
Decrease the
Divyanshu.
size.
It's perfectly fine. I think we get an idea about what we are trying to do here. That's okay. You can play around with your code if you want to. Uh, but I think we get an idea about what we would want to do. So if
I'll
you're
just
done, you can just click on finish.
press on finish.
Yeah, so
So
this is the link that, one second, Divyanshu. This is the link on the top can be shared by you. You can also download the animation that you've created in the last level of this hour of code activity, and you can play that later on. You can send that. The send to phone option doesn't work in India. It works only in the US. But you can always click this link, copy it, share it, and you can always share it with your friends and family through Facebook and Twitter. And all of those guys who've done the activity with us and who are also going to do this later on, I would simply request to do this activity and share the link with your friends and family on social media. You can please tag, don't forget to tag us. We're on Twitter, and this is our Twitter handle, and we're on Facebook. This is our Facebook page. So please do tag us and feel free to share it and do this wonderful activity. I'm sure you're going to be loving this, and you'll also like to do the next one after this. How was your experience, Ashutosh? Taking your
Wonderful.
first hour of code.
Yeah, and this is something that I'm actually looking forward to doing again whenever I get a chance.
Excellent.
I had a question for the kids who are participating here, and Divyanshu,
Yeah.
and I'm sure from a learning perspective, uh, how has your experience been? You see, the interesting bit about this kind of programming is that while the kids have to move blocks, etc., are they also starting to wonder how this is working at the background?
Yes, we can also uh, click on show code here. That
Wonderful.
shows us the background Java code.
Mm-hmm.
Just try and
Here-
show that. Yeah. Once. Yeah.
Yes,
Cool.
this is the code in the JavaScript.
So let me just full
Excellent.
screen this for everyone. Give me a second. Go back a little, Divyanshu. Just scroll back. Just go back a screen. Click your back to activity.
Yes. Now we
Yeah.
have to show the code.
Let me make it full screen for everyone. So yeah, if all of us can see, this is the JavaScript code that is at the heart of what Divyanshu created. It looks like a very complex code when you look at it, but as you can see, Divyanshu just had to drag and drop a few blocks and he was able to do it. But if you were to do the same activity in text-based language like JavaScript, this would be the exact code. And if you
Great.
are able to read this, the fine print on the top, Ashutosh, it also
Yeah.
says that even the top universities like Berkeley and Harvard, they introduce code to computer science undergrads in this exact same manner. They start with simple drag and drop blocks, where you're
Wonderful.
stacking the blocks together, and then you move to a text-based language because it
Absolutely.
simplifies your learning experience so much more.
Yes. And you probably get more imaginative if you don't have to immediately get concerned with, the how to write code.
Correct.
What is important is, and that is where I would like to leave some thoughts before we end. You
Yeah.
see, in life, as an entrepreneur or as a business person or as a teacher, whatever we intend to become later on, we will always have to go back to understand how are things working, what is it that is happening behind the scenes,
Yeah.
because real problem solving happens there. And unless you go deep into something, you will never be able to really create something interesting. And for the kids who are listening, one of the most important skills that will be required for us, for you guys, as you growing up, as you start working, will be problem solving skills. And every organization that you think of that you will work with will be looking at you, and they will do an interview, they will do a test, etc. But at the end of the day, they're looking at people who can work together in teams. And that is why my recommendation to all the kids who are listening in today is play a lot of games. Sport is critical for success in life. You learn more about team working in while you're playing a game of cricket or football or hockey or basketball, while you're doing that, then in any workshop or training workshop that you will do later in life. I've had more interesting experience of how people work in difficult circumstances when I have been trekking in Kanchenjunga mountains in
Oh,
Sikkim
wow.
than in a workshop or in a real life situation in my own organization. It's very fascinating to see. So one is very serious recommendation: enjoy, play a lot of games. Team games is very interesting to do and very important to do. And problem solving skills. You see, anything that you do, you might be in your kitchen, or you might be driving in your car, or you might be going to school, or you might be looking at, in the class. Always start thinking, oh, how is it working in the background? How does this happen? How does this happen every day? How does the newspaper boy deliver, or the man who brings newspaper, how does that work? For example, a thought behind for kids is, in Bombay we have this very interesting thing called dabbawalas.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are the folks who move millions of lunch boxes every day across Bombay. And it would be interesting if somebody could run a program around it. How does that work? You see, how do millions of lunch boxes reach Sandeep's office in time, Divyanshu's office in time, in multiple different places across Bombay, a city of more than 20 million people, and it's almost like Six Sigma. That's the level of accuracy they have achieved. So, problem-solving skills critical for life, and of course teamwork. And then life is cool.
Yeah. Just one thing I'd like to clarify when I'm sure when Ashutosh says that you can play games and you can play games in team, it doesn't mean that you should play online games, physical games.
Oh yes, that's a good one. That's a good one. I assume that we're talking about physical games.
Yeah, not PUBG and Fortnite, guys.
Yeah. Well, those are important in the sense that you see. Another interesting thing is that when people of my generation, for example, as parents, we look at our kids, we tend to, we will raise the same question that Sandeep you raised. Hey, well, you're spending too much time on PUBG or whatever else you're doing on the laptop or the cell phone.
Yeah.
And we will, and teachers and everybody else is also saying that we need to have a dedicated time for this, but we also need to have dedicated time for physical sport or physical activity away from the screen, because it is important to balance, because that's human beings, right? We human beings develop, for example, long back, and that's one of the dreams that I have, that I will probably open a school at some point of time. Let's see how it works out. But I think it was in 2010 that I was visiting a very interesting school called Eklavya in Ahmedabad. And the gentleman who founded that school, he and his team, he made as I was going around Eklavya, and it's a very large school with lots of playgrounds, etc. It so happened that there was a break, and the kids were coming out for the free period. And what they had done was they had installed these fixed cycles of sorts.
Okay.
Kids could come on, the kind that we see in the gym.
Yeah.
And just get onto one of those and start pedaling. And what is interesting is that he raised a question, why do you think we are doing this? And I said, well, I can see there's a fun element, kids are coming out, and you see, he says, this is a useful activity. We have connected it to the water source. So as they are pedaling, they are also providing water to the fields of the flower beds and so on.
Wow.
And he made a very interesting comment that it has been found, the research says that if you are physically active, then you get very good at math also. And so what I'm trying to say is that for our kids of this generation, where they have to find balance between technology time, screen time, and physical work, which was not a problem for us because there was nothing else for us to do. When I was growing up, there wasn't even a TV program to see. In the university where I was growing up, there were no TVs when I was there, till at least when I was in class 10. So it's a bit of a struggle for kids nowadays. They are probably growing more capable than us.
Yeah.
And if we can find a balance between technology and physical work, then I'm sure they'll be better coders, better problem solvers, and better entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. Totally agree with you. In fact, with kids staying at home these days a lot, they should be focused more on how to kind of balance the screen time consciously, because sometimes we don't realize how much time you've spent watching TV or computer screen, and sometimes even your mobile phone. So Divyanshu, very, very important lessons for you to also learn from the experiences of someone like Ashutosh, who comes with decades of experience and having created such big brands. And of course, the lot of other kids and the parents who are tuned into this session from all over the country. Divyanshu, I'm going to quickly share your screen again, and we're going to, so Divyanshu,
now
has
here
come to
is
the
the
last page.
certificate.
Yeah.
You can write your name and print it.
Wow.
Now, as we did a dance party, we should do a dance move to end this dance party like this.
Like this. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Thank
So,
you so much, Divyanshu.
Ashutosh, this is the certificate that you would everyone gets at the end of the activity. You can just type in your name, and it's a wonderful certificate to put up on your wall. I'm going to send yours personally.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this because you took your first hour of code with us. It was such an honor for us.
Oh, it's an honor for me. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And thank you so much once again for waking up so early on a Sunday morning from Nigeria, all the way from there, and sharing your wonderful story of entrepreneurship with all the kids. I'm very happy to, I'm pretty sure that it would inspire a lot of kids who would want to see entrepreneurship as a career option, because not everyone wants to become go into a corporate world. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of these kids would want to do this. Yeah.
Absolutely. And if we have to grow our country, if we have to, if India has to progress and we have to create more jobs, it is really entrepreneurs like Divyanshu, I'm sure, and the other kids who are watching, who will take us to the next step in our country's progress. And you see, what is fascinating is that while all of us look for, we have large brands, we have large organizations that are very famous brands across India. They would be in banking, they could be in manufacturing, they could be in automobiles, they could be in FMCG. But more jobs are created by small and medium enterprises in every country, and entrepreneurs. So any young entrepreneur creating a small company, providing 10 jobs, brilliant stuff. That's
Awesome.
the future.
Yeah. Cool. Wonderful. It was a wonderful session, both for having both of you, Ashutosh and Divyanshu, with me today this morning. And once again, thank you so much for taking out your time and sharing this morning with us. Thank you very much, Divyanshu, for taking us through the entire activity. It was very nice.
Good job, Divyanshu. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Thank you,
You were
sir.
excellent.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.